Before that, after years of fighting, a family have been told that their autistic son will finally be released from a secure hospital where he's been held for more than 2 decades.
Tony Hitmock was initially sectioned under the Mental Health Act in 2001, but despite assurances he would stay in the short-term facility for just 9 months, he's been detained for almost half of his life.
Yeah, and his parents, Pam and Roy, celebrate the news of his new release. They're joining us now. Yeah. Oh, it's good to have you with us, guys.
It's lovely to see you. It's kind of like bittersweet, isn't it? Yes, your son is coming out. Is it the 1st of November? Hopefully.
31st of October.
31st
yeah.
of October.
Another day.
No, we don't want it to be another day
Another
at
day.
all. But it is bittersweet because it's half of his life he's been inside. I didn't realise how difficult it was to get them out. Tell me a little bit, first of all, about Tony, first of all.
Well, with Tony, I mean, Tony was educationally failed anyway, so that's how his life started. He went to a special school. They didn't have the facilities there for him. He sat in a corridor with a radio. It was easy to get through the day with a radio up until he got excluded from school. And that's when our trouble started, really. He got older, and then he got up to adult services. When he got to adult services, he did have a placement with the Autistic Society. They put some good staff in with him and it worked well, but they pulled them away because it was cheaper to put carers in, and it collapsed really quick.
So he was happy at first, and
yeah,
it was
he was very happy. Yeah. It could have worked.
Yeah.
Really, I think it's because nobody was going to be prepared to pay for the money. He was doing a share, half the week there, half the week home. And it collapsed because it went with carers. And that was it, really. It just sort of spiralled off from there.
So what happened after... So you had a system in place that was working pretty well, yeah?
Yeah.
And then... So what happened after that, and how has he ended up, like,
well,
where he is
when we was
today?
left with him at home, it's a bit complicated because there was so much going on, like shopping, going to forward and whatever. But when he became 18, we was told, like, they don't have any obligation to him. They had to find somewhere for Tony to go. It landed up that he was sent to see the house, this place that he was sent to, for 9 months. And that's what it should have been.
And it should be just a short term...
Just a short term.
22 years.
But we found, once you go in them doors, it's very, very hard to get out because they don't... It's not followed by the mental health law. I mean, you're in there, you're in there.
Because he was...
And he was sectioned...
He was sectioned and then put in there? Is that the way it went? Or?
I think he wasn't sectioned as far as I know, because I never went to any Section 2. We never knew about that. In 2001, we didn't have mobiles or anything, you know, very isolated. No other parents knew anybody. Me and Roy knew nobody that was in the same circumstances as us. When he was in there, the years went by, never see a parent, never see anybody. We felt so alone.
Yeah.
And it was only but my daughter said to me, get on the internet, Mum.
So what feedback were you getting at the time when you were saying, well, you know, how is he? When can we get him out? What were they saying to you back then?
Well, we didn't realise that we weren't having the proper mental health tribunals or things to get him out. We was just being told that we'd have a CPA. He was getting worse and worse. And then it was either a broken arm. He did have a broken arm in a couple of places.
Did he tell you how that happened?
He did, but it wasn't followed up for months. It was closed up. We begged for him to be moved near home, somewhere safe, which they never did. And they put him in... They told us it was spoke service till they found somewhere. But then they started calling it... isolation. He was in isolation. He had a hatched door. He had to talk through. He's got no TV control. They took TV control away from him.
So in order to turn the channels...
Because of the batteries, they're not allowed batteries.
They had control.
Took everything. That was the only thing he had control over in his life. All he had in his room was a sofa and a bed.
And was you able, Roy, to talk to your son?
We was allowed to go in with him after a while, and we used to sit with him. We had 2 hours to sit with him.
Is it a week?
When I was there, I used to do certain things, like shower him, do his nails, because I never done them, and sort of dress him and that. And he used to look forward to that. I think that's what kept him sane.
But we couldn't find... We kept being told by our local authorities that there was no provider willing to take my son on. And we found... We said, we found a provider, and we did. But they did find a provider. They was having meetings, first off, this is in 2018. They was having meetings, and this place they was making from... Me and Roy weren't invited to them because they had best interest meetings without us.
But you should be there, you're the parents.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know if they took the best interest away from me and Roy. They told us we weren't in his best interest.
Yeah.
Because we was being difficult.
Remember, he's 120 miles away from where we lived.
Mm.
So in 2013, they said he was fit for discharge.
Yeah.
How frustrating has it been for you, knowing that he's fit for discharge, yet he's still inside? How's it been for you guys?
Nightmare.
Well, we just didn't know what to do or where to go. See, when you can't get legal aid and you can't get anybody to legally represent you, yet he's got an official solicitor that's been there since... And a body of people, we're told, litigated friends, that have been there since 2001... but different people are in different roles, but they're still there. Why haven't they, in 21 years, got my son out? Why didn't they attend meetings? Why didn't they support me and Roy? But now we took them to court protection. All these people, we got, what, 80-odd, 90-odd people?
Yeah.
All, it must cost $500,000. All these 4 years more he's been kept in there. Well, we found a provider and we found housing. We found Secco, beautiful people.
Lovely people, Secco.
They've said to take my son on. He deserves a chance, and they have gone the extra length.
Above and beyond.
Yeah, they have.
Up and beyond.
So the court's now ordered that Tony's release.
2 weeks, 2 more visits. We got 2 more visits. We got a bungalow by the sea that we wanted. Yeah. Secco said, my son, they go the extra length. They train themselves round him to make this work.
I bet you can't wait for him
We've
to come
met
out.
most of them. Really lovely people.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to doing the most with your son?
Cooking a meal for him.
Cooking a meal.
Sitting at his table, waiting. He's not going to come home for a while because he's got trauma. I mean, you can't live away for 21 years in a room with just a bed and a chair and a dining room table. You're not allowed out, you know, don't go out in the community. That's all got to come back. And we live 5 miles away. We put that distance 5 miles. It's good for him. Yeah. For us as well, because, I mean, I'm 78, Roy's 82. And Secco promised that their dream for us is that they've got him and Roy can go on a holiday and we feel that we can leave him with them.
That's what we want, for him to be happy. Then we're happy.
Yeah.
And we got some lovely staff they've employed.
Could a change in the law, do you think, change this from happening?
We're hoping this will be.
Obviously, autism now is a world away from what it was back then.
No autistic person should be under the Mental Health Act. Nobody should be under Section 3, because you can't cure autism. It's not a mental illness.
Exactly.
And they cannot... You put them in this hospital. I did ask, what are you going to do for my son? Now you've got him in here. What? He said, treatment. He said, the treatment is a bed. Yeah. I said, really? He said, and we give him medication. They put him on psychotic drugs. I said, well, he never had them at home. That made him epileptic. Made him, out of control. He's been held down with up to 10, 11 people at a time. Frightened. He look at the door begging us not to go. My son's been so ill-treated. People don't believe this is happening. It's happening now. This minute, you've had all these programmes on the TV. Still happening.
And there's other people as well.
Winterbourne. We've had Winterbourne 10 years ago. I sat and watched that and cried all the way through it. We was going through it ourselves. I said, we've had worse than this.
Yeah.
We've seen our son worse than this. We've seen him dressed in other people's clothes. We've seen him in shoes that 2 sizes too small. He's had brand new trainers. Somebody's taken his and given him dirty trainers back. Everything he's got is had taken away from him.
Well, very neglected.
And all you really wanted was for him to be in manageable care,
looked after,
accessible to you, so you could be.
I want to take them all out with me when I go out that door. I want to say, "Come on, kids, we're going. Come on, guys, we're all going out this door. We're all going back. You all deserve a life. You shouldn't be locked up here for years and years and years. None of them have got a date. Nobody's to speak for them. No legal aid, and they're sending them away now as young as ever.
As far as
9 years old, they're going anywhere. And if you oppose and you get difficult, they send them away and they say the parents are so difficult, we can't deal with them. They don't deal with you, and
We do
Just
have
two
some
statements we have to read out.
Yeah.
One from Brighton and Hove Council, this is Robert Percy, said, we hope very much that the arrangements we're putting in place for Tony's care will work for him and his family. We're really sorry this has taken so long, but it's very complicated. Trying to get all the elements like housing and carers all ready at the right time. People with complex needs. We have a responsibility to look after people such as Tony to the best we can, and we remain committed to doing so.
Could I answer that? He did
By all
that
means.
before. Rob Percy he said, we've got to think of the public purse. Now, they spent millions and millions on my son. He could have lived at the Grand Hotel for what they've spent, right?
What he's had for dinner is a Marmite sandwich.
This provider that we've got, I doubt you get half the money of what these people have got. They didn't even release the money till last Wednesday to buy the furniture for his home. You know, they really want it to work. We've been running around buying furniture. We've had to buy everything.
I can just feel your frustration.
No
really can.
support, and they left it all to the last minute. We've had to beg for everything. We was told to go and ask on Facebook for things. You know, I don't want charity.
The NHS has got in touch. We have worked closely with this patient, his family and the local commissioners to ensure his complex care needs are met, and we'll continue to work with his family and our partner organisations to support his ongoing care needs. The NHS is committed to reducing the number of people with a learning disability and autism in a mental health inpatient setting, so they can get the care they need at home or in the community wherever possible. And since March 2015, this has already reduced by almost a third. Those are the statements.
Don't believe it.
We did also approach the hospital's owners, but we didn't get a comment from them.
No, they won't.
I can hear how upset you are. I really can.
Percy's turned up to... I am upset with Rob because we're having all these meetings. He said at a meeting they asked for a comment with him with the BBC, and he turned around and said, these people, I don't know who he's talking about, these people, well, subnormals or people that don't fit in, these people that shouldn't be taking the money. You know, people we've got to deal with. These people, they do deserve the money.
Pam, we've got to leave it there, but you just remember your son's coming out.
Yeah.
Your son's coming out, Pam.
That's a positive thing.
Thank you so much for telling your story.
So many more, and we've got to stop this, we've got to stop them,
we will.
putting them away.
And listen, you being here will have helped, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking us on.
Thank you.